Hello there, welcome back to the channel. My name is Myro, and we're reaching the end of 2024, which means only one thing. It's this time of year, so I'm going to talk about my favorite records from 2024. 2024, like last couple of years, if you look, globally, what is happening around the world, suck big time. Music-wise, I think it is a great year. There are a bunch of great records, and I even managed to get three five-star records, which is quite unusual, and I did not expect that one bit. At number 10, I have a record that I already covered here on the channel, and that is Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds and their 18th overall studio album Wild God. And it is wild that they managed to put up this high quality record this late in their careers. But let's be real, they've been doing that for a while now. If you look how good Push the Sky Away and Skeleton Tree were, especially, this album is a mix of sounds that we heard on Lyre of Orpheus and Ghosteen. It is an album heavily influenced and inspired by gospel music, and I think it sounds amazing, especially the title track and my favorite song on this whole record, Conversion. Um, this album feels more peaceful and happier in tone compared to the previous two records that were drenched in uh, tragedy and despair and melancholy. It is a really cohesive listening experience. It's shorter listening experience compared to Ghosteen. It is more varied than Ghosteen. So yeah, I like it a lot, and this is the reason it made my top 10 at number 10. At number 9, I have Ulcerate and their seventh full-length album, Cutting the Throat of God. They're a New Zealand extreme metal band or death metal band, but they're not your typical death metal band. There's more to them. First and foremost, on this record and the previous one, post metal influence is apparent. Bands like ISIS come to mind. Also, we have black metal atmosphere that is so prominent on this one. The haunting and disturbing atmosphere is maintained throughout this whole record, and that fits the main kind of a theme that is death. For unprepared listeners, the mix might be too loud, but to me it works because the instrumentation is quite interesting, and the production just elevates that even higher. I like the melodic guitars and those insane drums, which are definitely the highlight of the overall listening experience. To me, they don't have a weak record, and they get better with each new release. So yeah, number 9, Ulcerate, Cutting the Throat of God. If you haven't heard of one and you like some more extreme metal, give this album a listen. You won't be disappointed. At number 8, I have an album that caught me by surprise, and that is Beth Gibbons' Life's Outgrown. This album took over 10 years to make, and it shows how thoughtful it was crafted. This album is intimate, it is personal, and as Beth herself stated, it was influenced by that of family members and friends over the years. And the lyrics definitely showcase that with themes of mortality, motherhood, growing old, etc. The production is crisp and on point. It really drags you in. There's some beautiful instrumentation and arrangements throughout this whole album. And as always, Beth sounds amazing, and you can feel that emotion in her voice singing these lyrics. So, yeah, it was a beautiful listening experience and one of albums that really caught me off guard the first time I heard it. So yeah, Beth Gibbons, Life's Outgrown, number 8. At number 7, I have a record that I already covered here on the channel. It is maybe the biggest record of the year, and that is The Cure, Songs of a Lost World. It's been 16 years since their last studio album, 413 Dream, and if they would end their careers after this record, Songs of a Lost World, I think they would end it on a high note. It would be a perfect send off for the band. And even though Robert Smith mentioned they have material for another album, I don't know if they recorded it or not. We cannot trust Robert Smith on dates and new releases, but anyway, if they end their career right here, right now, this would be a perfect send off, in my opinion. There are some great, memorable moments throughout this whole record, especially the closing track and song, which might be my favorite song of the year. It is amazing. It's so emotional. I love it. And Robert Smith sounds bloody amazing. I mean, the guy sounds like he never left the 80s, which is mind blowing. The rest of the band, as always, really sounds rejuvenated and I can feel that they enjoyed making this record, especially Reeves Gabriel. There are some great guitar licks and solos, especially on the last couple of tracks. So, yeah, it was a surprising release as well. I did not expect to like it as much as I did, but yeah, definitely one of the better records of the year. Cure, Songs of the Last World. At number six, I have Judas Priest and their 19th studio album, Invincible Shield. This album is freaking amazing. Rob and Glenn are in their 70s here and they kick so much ass, especially Rob. He sounds bloody amazing. Uh, Once again, the album is produced by Andy Sneap, and once again, everything sounds crisp. The playing is top notch, especially Richie Faulkner shines here. Scott Travis is obviously great. The playing is energized. The songs are fast and they're furious, even more so than on Firepower, which is another great record, especially on the opening track, Panic Attack, with its synth intro, and Ferocious, The Serpent and the King. The only song that I'm not the biggest fan of, but it kind of grew on me a bit, and that is Crown of Horns. Overall, I think this is an amazing record this late in their careers, and they managed to put up two back-to-back great records, Firepower and Invincible Shield. So, yeah, kudos to Judas Priest. So I hope they have more energy, continue doing what they do the best. So, yeah, great stuff. At number five, I have a record that was talk of the day when it was released in summer. A record that was kind of a internet sensation. Uh, I'm gonna show you. It is Brat by Charlie XCX. I usually don't gravitate towards this genre of music, but I was surprised by how much I enjoyed this whole record. The production is fantastic, and there is always something unique happening here in every song, especially how the key sounds. The cover artwork, simple as it may seem, became iconic already. It has that early 2000s vibe. Even the music, but obviously with so much added to it that it sounds fresh in 2024. Not a single bad song here. It's full of bangers like 360, Club Classics, Sympathy is a Knife, Von Dutch, or the closing track 365, which is a perfect way to finish up this whole record. Really, really good stuff. I once again did not expect this album to be in my top 10 in the end of the year, so but here we are. Brat, Charlie XCX, great album. At number four, I have another pop record, another record that's caught me off guard, and I was surprised how much I liked it, and that is Magdalena Bay Imaginal Disc. This is the second studio album from synth pop duo Magdalena Bay, and this album is an upgrade over their debut in every aspect, and that album was quite good. The album is dense, it's groovy packed with funky bass licks and twinkling keys. And what I love most about it is Mika's voice that in a way reminds me a lot of Kylie Minogue. I don't know if I'm imagining things, but that's what I hear, especially kind of early 2000s Kylie. The songs here are quite dynamic and often end in a climactic fashion full of distortion and noise, which I really like. And I think that part of this record is what made me love it even more. For an album that is almost an hour long, I think it's packed with great songs, with some great choruses and masterfully done production. So yeah, this album, like I said, and like I said for a couple of others here, especially Brett, and you know, did not expect to like these pop records as much as I did. So yeah, number four, Magdalena Bay, Imaginal Disc. At number three, I have my first five-star record of the year, and that is Godspeed Your Black Emperor and their record No Title As Of. Well, today that death toll is much higher than on the day the album was released. This is a fantastic album that is born out of the horrors of the world we currently live in. Maybe their best album since Lift Your Skinny Fists, and what a powerful message they're sending. And even though this is an instrumental album, you don't need words to describe the horrors and tribulations currently happening in Palestine. Music here is so powerful and so thoughtfully crafted, it really stirs something in you. But there is also a bit of hope in these notes as well. The album in a way is a memorial for all those innocent people that died. And I don't have anything more to say about it other than go listen to it. I think it's a masterpiece. So, yeah, you have to check it out. At number two, I have a record that I bumped from 4.5 stars to 5 stars after hearing it live. It really blew me away, and I heard it a couple more times after that. And that album is Chelsea Wolfe. She reaches out to She reaches out to She. This album might be her most consistent and most well thought of record. Really tight release, 10 tracks, and I can really say there are no weak songs here. The sound on this album feels closer to her earlier, more dark wave style, but with heavy influence from trip hop. The album seems to be more personal to Chelsea after struggling with addiction up until recently, and the album title obviously suggests that with its repeating nature of relapse and recovery. There are a bunch of high quality songs. I like the production, and I especially love the closing track, Dusk, which to me encapsulates everything this album is about. The last 2 minutes on it are really loud with heavily distorted solo in the background, Chelsea's voice barely managing to break through the thick layer of noise. I mean, it's a great song and also one of my favorite songs of the year. Uh, like I said, when I heard some of these songs live, I was even more hooked to this whole record. I think one of her best records overall. So yeah, Chelsea Wolfe, She reaches out to She at number two. At number one, my absolute favorite record of 2024 is Absolute Elsewhere by Blood Incantation. What a year for metal this was, but this album takes the cake as being my favorite metal album of the year and my favorite record of 2024 in general. This is such a unique sounding record. It's fascinating, really. I already heard their record, their second studio album, I think, Hidden History of Human Race, which I thought was really good. But this album is so much better. I mean, it is so different as well, but they managed to expand on their sound that they were doing on that one and what they experimented with the EP Time Wave Zero with synths and those spacey kind of atmospheric songs. They managed to create an album that feels like a space odyssey. It's two tracks divided in kind of tablets or sections. We have the Stargate and the Message, each separated in three tablets. And what I love about this record the most is the production, which feels so earthy and warm. And in my opinion, this is one of the best produced records, metal records I've heard in recent years. Those transitions from brutal death metal blast beats into, more spacey, synth, psychedelic, kind of slower atmospheric parts of the songs were done masterfully, and everything feels so cohesive and feels those progressions and transitions feel really natural. Nothing is disjointed. There's a lot of room to breathe here. I especially love the transition between the Message tablet 2 into tablet 3. We have, kind of a slow, atmospheric, kind of Pink Floydish part of the song that segues directly into brutal death metal riff to close this whole record. I think it is amazing. I know I'm out of words, to be honest. Curious to see where this band will go on from here because so far what I heard, it is all bangers, but this album is just kind of icing on the cake. It's so good. So yeah, definitely my number one record of the year. So this will be my list. Please let me know in the comments down below what are your top 10 favorite records of 2024. Like, share, subscribe, and all that good YouTube jazz. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.